Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've recorded in this space, and today I want to bring you a kind of special video because a lot of you ask me here on YouTube or on Instagram, how do you edit your digital photos? And today I want to address that. Usually I do all my edits in Lightroom, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So let's get started. Okay, I'm now here in Lightroom and let me show you how I edit my photos. You will be surprised how easy it actually is, and especially since one update, I think it was in April, Adobe they brought out an update for Lightroom, and they introduced color profiles, and color profiles they make it very easy to get a certain look. And yes, let me show you how I edit my photos. So this one you might recognize from one of my How I Shoot episodes. And first what I usually do is go to the color profiles, and I created my own profiles and they're down here, and I just pick one of them. Maybe let's go with this one. This one looks pretty good. And the advantage of color profiles is that you can change basically the opacity of the preset or the color profile in this case, and make it look different. For instance, if you reduce it down, then it looks like standard, but that's not what we want. But you can also bump it up quite a bit to 200. Sometimes it works if you bump it above 100. Sometimes it doesn't. Most of the times, yeah, the colors just look too funky. So usually I stick around 100. Okay, in this case, maybe let's bump up the contrast a little, get the exposure up, and maybe reduce the highlights just slightly. And to make him stand out more, let's reduce the brightness around him. And just like this, yeah, and pretty much that's it. Done. On to the next one. This one is fairly underexposed. I was in aperture priority, and because of the sky is fairly bright, so the camera underexposed quite a bit. No problem. Just bring up the exposure around 2 stops, which is quite a lot, but these days sensors can handle this easily. And now I will go to the color profiles again, and let me pick one. Maybe let's pick a different one. I think this one. Yeah, this one looks pretty good. Let's pick this one. And also here you can go totally over the top. But yeah, as you can see, it's a little too much. Let's stick around 100. Maybe let's bump up the contrast a little. Bring up shadows and reduce the highlights so you can see more detail in the clouds. And yeah, I think around here, that's basically it. Let's go to the next image. This is a shot I took in Japan, and it's shot at night, high ISO, and yes, as you can see, a lot of artificial lighting going on. And let's pick the color profile first. This one. Yeah, this one. Okay, let's bring up the exposure a little. Just bring down the highlights and bump the contrast. Around here, I think that's it. So, next one. Also a shot I took in Japan, and here you can see some problems you might encounter if you shoot at night. Because here, as you can see here, like the greens are a little too saturated and they look kind of artificial to me, and also the red is a little too saturated, and for this we have the color profiles. So let's go to the color profiles and pick one. Maybe, yeah, this one looks really nice. Bring the exposure up slightly, a little more contrast. Bring down the highlights. Around here I would say totally fine. Next one. You might recognize this photo from my last episode that I uploaded, and I can show you exactly what I did. I went to first, of course, to the color profiles, and I picked this one here. Then I brought the exposure up just slightly like this. Contrast. Let's bring down the highlights a little, and let's give it a little vignette. Okay, maybe exposure slightly more like this. And you can also play a little with the haze. I think about here. Yes, I think that's fine. Next one. Also a shot from my last episode, and here I did exactly the same thing. Here, okay, bring out the shadows and reduce the highlights a little. And maybe let's take care of the shadows. They're very dark, and maybe let's wash them out a little, so it's more like if, oops, sorry, more filmish look like this. I think around here, that's nice. You can also play around with white balance. Maybe make it a little cooler like this. Reduce the opacity slightly. Okay, that's it. On to the next one. Another shot from the last episode, and this actually already looks pretty good. The only thing I don't like too much is about the colors here, like the red here. It's a little saturated, a little too much, like the blue. But no problem. Just go to one of the color profiles, and also what's very cool about the color profiles, if you hover over it, it will give you a preview, and you can basically see how it might look. Let's pick this one again, and as you can see, the blues are a little less prominent, and the red is more like an orange now. And let's bring this up around here. Do the same thing like before. And I think that's about it. Pretty good. And what works for street shots or night shots also works for, in this case, portraits. And let's pick something here. And I mean, you can pick whatever you want here, like a black and white, like a warm black and white, or just a very punchy black and white. Let's pick what we're going with here. Nope, maybe this one. Nope, too many. What about this one? Or also you can pick like the very contrasty one, like this one, and reduce the opacity so the contrast looks decent. This is works well, especially if you have a scene that is lacking contrast. If you apply this, it looks much nicer. But in this case, let's get this one here. It's a very faded, filmish look, and also again here you can increase opacity, but personally I think it's far too much, so let's go to 100. Let's bump the contrast a little, reduce the highlights slightly. Yeah, that's basically it. On to the next one, and this one was shot during nighttime, as you can see, and it was raining, and I used flash. I used two strobes. One was somewhere behind here, and one with an octabox was standing on this side. And here I would say let's bring up the exposure slightly and pick a color profile. And this one looks pretty nice. Let's go with this one. I like this one. And here it works very well if you increase the opacity here, but maybe 200 is a little too much. Maybe let's stay around here. And let's bump the contrast, bring up the shadows, and reduce the highlights a little, and that's basically it. And if you're wondering what camera I used for the portraits, and this one and the one before, they were both shot on Sony a7R II. This one with the 85 1.4 G Master, which is a phenomenal lens. And this one was shot with a 55, as you can see here, 55 1.8 Zeiss. Okay, let's go to one more image here. And this one here, I shot with a Leica Q in Korea, and here you can see like there's artificial lighting and some natural ambient light at the same time, because like it's not fully dark now at that moment. And here you can see that it looks kind of funky because it's like too saturated and everything, so it's not what I usually go for. So in this case I have one profile that's taking care of color cast, and let me show you first then this one here. And what it's basically doing is it's reducing the saturation of all the colors except skin tones and colors that are very close to skin tones. As you can see here, if I reduce the opacity, the colors come through again. And as you can see, the skin tones, they stay. And also here in the sky, there's like almost the same colors, also staying fairly saturated. And you can play around with the slider here to get the desired look. And this can be very handy from time to time if you have a really nasty color cast and you can control this just by using the slider, which is fairly easy. And to show you exactly, or even better, how it works, let's pick this one. It's a wedding shot, and if I go to the color profile, the anti-color cast profile, as you can see, it's basically desaturating all the greens, but still keeping the skin tones. It's like a color key, basically, almost. Which I hate color keys usually, but sometimes it can be really handy to use this. If you bump it up to 200, it looks really funky and almost like no, that's not working. So let's get it down again. Yeah. Maybe let's apply a different profile here just to show you what kind of look you can go for. Just zip through. So very, very different looks. Okay. Different black and white looks, and that's basically only applying the profile. That's it, nothing else. Like all the sliders, I didn't move any of the sliders. I can still to make it look even better. So as you can see, it's very easy to edit the photos like this, and you get a very good result without spending hours and hours in front of your computer. And the cool thing is you can also use your presets you might already have and combine them, and to get a very different look. So yes, that's why I like color profiles, and now you know how I edit my photos. So guys, as you just saw, it's very simple and very straightforward how I edit my photos. And if you want to use my color profiles, you can download them. The link is in the description box. And if you get them, it's also a good and nice way to support the channel. And if you do so, please leave a comment down below and let me know which one is your favorite color profile. Okay guys, that's it. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And we will see each other very soon in the next video. Auf Wiedersehen.